My name is Log1xmeister, and my dream is to one day box KSI. Every day whenever I go to sleep, I'm hit by the harsh realities that my current occupation is to be a work-at-home software intern who's yet to gain clout. How could I imagine myself beating KSI if I don't even have the strength or clout to garner his attention? I lay hopeless in bed, feeling weak until I discovered the Skyblock Dojo. In the Skyblock Dojo, you are given various tasks that you must complete with extreme precision. Not to mention, there's also leaderboards where players can boast the highest score in each exercise. If I wanted clout, this was the place to get it from every Skyblock tryhard. Except, there are multiple problems. I live in Australia. For many people who play Hypixel, this is a self-explanatory problem. But for those of you who aren't aware, I'm just going to be playing with a little bit of latency on an already laggy server. But fear not, for I have studied Einstein's theory of relativity. Nothing can go wrong, right? Well, to start off and train in the dojo, you must first store away all the items in your inventory and unequip your equipment, including the belt that he gives you at the start. After that, Master Tao will provide you immunity as he finally recognizes you as a student when you're naked. Now if you're wondering, why is this necessary at all? It's all because of Master Tao's philosophy. If your base form is OP, why even power up? Your armor and equipment is but a crutch. Starting off with the first task, the test of force, the player is meant to knock zombies off of the platform while exercising discipline of not hitting the leather-cap zombies. Because if you hit one of these guys, you lose 30 points, which is massive. And for those of you who don't have a brain, you're also meant to stay on the platform and not jump off of it into the lava. It was only while I was playing this that I realized how bad I was at sprint resetting under laggy conditions. Every time I hit a zombie, the first hit would knock them back substantially, but the second hit would do nothing. I reflected upon my time in Skywars only to realize that I have indeed been relying on a crutch known as the sword, for I have learned how to block hit instead of W tapping. However, one cannot blame themselves entirely because... I love lag! With the second task, the test of stamina, the player is forced to play on Hypixel's version of MCC's hole in the wall. This task requires the player to look at all four directions, listening to sound cues and paying attention to details of the walls. If the player touches the side of the wall at all, the timer will end there and the player will be given their score. Under my laggy conditions, the timings were delayed and somewhat tight due to Hypixel's anti-cheat. When I would land on a block in the hole in the wall, I would be rubber banded and griefed by the server. Things were not going my way, but to me, this was entirely a skill issue. In the third task, the test of mastery, the player is to stand on a platform and shoot at the colored wall blocks. This was a test of the player's ability to shoot with a bow, but more so to exercise the discipline of a player's timing, as they are rewarded an exponential amount the higher the tier. This was a slight breeze to me, because all I had to do was calculate the timing of the travel time of the arrow and the latency of my ping. However, my ping didn't make it easy, as it would take like twice as long to draw the bow, so the rate at which I drew my arrows was slowed down to a significant amount. Moving on to the fourth test, the test of discipline. This test tests the player's ability to switch between items and hit the correct zombie with the correct sword. To me, this was slightly hard as my brain is as fast as a snail, but I managed to pull an A somehow. However, this test has shown me of my shortcomings of my movement, because while I think about which sword to hit the zombie with, I stop thinking about my position in the world. Okay, I have to hit them instead of knocking. Ah! The fifth task, the test of swiftness. In this task you are to move on to the green block, and for every green block you make it to, you're given a point. As the test goes on, the timing gets faster and faster, and getting to the green block will also become more difficult as you're required to jump at some points. This task wasn't too easy, but it was relatively easy compared to the next test. No! 2 block jumps! The sixth task, control. In all my years of Skyblock, never have I seen a more infuriating test. This test is essentially an aim labs test where you keep your crosshair on the moving target, in this case the wither skeleton. Occasionally, there are times where you have to deal with distractions that make you lose your control, such as zombies spawning on you, normal skeletons shooting arrows at you, and sometimes the wither skeleton mirage cloning itself to throw you off. To me, these distractions weren't an issue. However, what was an issue was trying to predict 0.25 seconds ahead into the future. Surely if you lived in America where the ping is literally about 20 ms, you could probably aim where the skeleton is and get a high score easily. But for me, I had to look about 2 blocks ahead where it was going to be. Oh, and did I mention that the skeleton stops at its position and jumps? With all of this combined with the distractions, I simply could not get myself above a C. Hello? And finally, the last task, the test of tenacity. In this test, you are tasked to be on the arena against multiple ghasts. You start off with one ghast that shoots like 0 fireballs per second, all the way to the end where there are 4 ghasts that each shoot like 1 fireball per second. At this stage, the arena gets destroyed and the blocks under start disappearing one by one. This test was a true test of tenacity of how much a player can dodge while also having to keep track of the blocks under them. To me, this test was unpredictable as the number of genders in today's society because there are multiple RNG elements to this. First is the spread of the ghast's fireball. Instead of it being consistent and aiming at you, it's about as accurate as a CSGO sniper while unscoped and running. It's because of this that makes it extremely hard. And you know what makes this completely harder? Lag. Because of the hitbox stretching, most of the bullets I dodge hit me anyways because according to the server, I didn't react on time. Well anyways, I got an A on this one. By the time I started to edit this video, these are the scores I have placed. Of course, over time, if I dedicated myself hours of training a day, I could eventually hit the number 1 spot. But there's only so much progression that I can do in a single weekend. Again, my name is Log1X Meister, and I'll see you all next time.